and then of existing curb to curb, so within what we've already have. And then at 7th, it narrows down to 36 feet of curb to curb width. And then from 10th, I believe, all the way to 14th, we narrow even further down to 30 feet of right of way. And then from 14th to South Dakota, it's goes back to 36, which is still narrow. But if it feels really narrow through here, it's because it is.
I know y'all aren't in design phase yet, but do y'all have a plan for like what will occupy the cross width?
We're still looking at opportunities to do the protected bikeway through here, to look at like what that would take. We want to come out and look at parking, like I said, get those actual counts, bring the tape measure, just so we know kind of exactly what we're working with all of our alleys. It looks like a lot if you're looking like just from a block level, but as you can see, there's really no parking on that street back there, or on the block that we just passed through. Those are two 15-foot travel lanes, and then with all of our bus stops and our alley cut-throughs, kind of really, once you get your setbacks from the alleyways, you really we just want to come and look and see exactly how much parking we have, and where it is. See if that's something that we could, look at the parking within the neighborhood, see if that's something that we can shift around, and still get that our fully protected bike lane through here. Because it is so narrow through here, that's kind of why one of the reasons we're looking at the two-way protected. It's the treatment that we can do that still provides protection, that is the narrowest amount of width of all of our protected options. So the protected traditional, you would need like 5 feet and then your 3 feet buffer for both sides instead of our typical 4 feet, or 8 feet, 8 to 10 feet versus, and then our, 1 to 3 foot buffer, 1.5 to 3 foot buffer. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No,
but
it
we
does.
are still looking at trying what it would take to do protected through here. Looking at what safety treatments, what traffic calming elements, we can do, looking at all the different options.
So 2 points.
Yeah.
One, I was slightly distracted because I saw 2 cars utilize the alleyway cut-throughs to avoid this light while you were speaking. So
Absolutely.
to my previous point, there you go. The other thing, I understood that because of the designation of Taylor as minor arterial, I think, any bike lane has to be protected. Is it collector here or the whole width?
It's still a minor arterial.
Yeah, I believe it is a
That's
minor
what I thought.
arterial throughout the entirety of the corridor, which is very atypical for the street conditions that we see. Obviously, it was designated. It is, as we prioritize it in our bike priority plan because we recognize the importance of this as an east-west connector. I think that's probably, I don't want to speak on behalf of our classification team, but that would make sense for why that would be, why this would be classified the way it is. We do like to, we do, as you mentioned, DDOT has our bicycle facility design guide. In it, we have a matrix of, what, how wide is your road, what type of road it is. It is true on these types of roads, we do have a policy of always trying to do protected whenever feasible. We want to get prioritize getting protection in, since that's our standards. you know, some things, you know, if it's really narrow, you know, obviously we want to look and see like how can we fit something that would be protected within the space that we have that still provides safety and usability. So
yeah, I mean, on the topic of protection and what the DEM says, this was a topic last night in our committee meeting, because we that understand that this project has to be a compromise among many interests along different sections and different widths. And that, you know, you can see here today there's different types of bicycles, and I think there is an interest in making sure that whenever possible we don't go under the minimum for the bike facility, because largely the people that brought this project to be were families that are trying to take their kids to school that, you know, are sometimes in larger bikes than with bigger bikes. Yeah, and to the point of compromise. And being here, I also want to think about if there's ways that we can like look at like side streets that can serve as these like loading and metro access zones instead of on Taylor all the time. And then like building goodwill even more. Like we see this huge queue of cars, and we've heard that the signal is kind of a pain.
yeah,
And it must be because it's prioritizing Michigan and not the arterial or minor arterial that Taylor is. And so if there are changes that can be done with the signal to kind of equalize the, you know, the times for both streets could be helpful if that's, and a good way to be like, there are benefits on other things.
yeah, absolutely.
All three of these roads are actually relatively major roads in like the sort of larger context of Upper Northeast. And Sargent is a major north-south corridor to the border. And obviously Taylor is
Yeah,
used, and Michigan speaks for itself. So,
yeah.
so it's a nasty intersection.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I know you can see, you know, they've already done some safety treatments. I was looking at the aerial imagery today to see when these were put in. It looks like it was 2020, 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's on here, so we want to come back through and look at it again to see can we do even better.
If there is anything you can do, I'm a pedestrian here probably every day, and I have a very old dog who's very slow. We see wreckage. There are just bumpers and car parts all strewn about, and something new every week. It really seems like there could be improvements. You are all the experts, but it's crazy how people treat this intersection, and it's like, so if there's anything that can be done, hopefully the bike lanes will help with that, but other than
along the lines of being a pedestrian, a lot of the trees, you can see the roots have been cut in traffic, but they completely invade the sidewalk, and these flexi pave repairs.
Oh no. Flat tire.
That's so funny.
Wow. There's like areas where the grade and repairs that the wheelchair would not get so narrow.
Yeah.
I walk with my stroller.
Like you can't get your stroller through. Yeah.
So this area this would service like runners.
Yeah. Like if you have your running stroller. Absolutely.
And it would sort of counter to the argument of like, well, why can't you use the sidewalk? Have you seen the sidewalk? There's bushes and retaining walls.
We recognize, some of these trees are quite large. I don't know. I can't remember. I just learned the diameter for heritage trees. I can't remember what it is. It was like if you could hug it, or if you and your friend could hug it, I think. But I know that we have, some really massive trees that we want to make sure that we preserve in terms of like the heat, canopy, the heat island effect. No, absolutely.
And
I realize like that's a good resource. But obviously it's impacting the sidewalk.
I haven't looked at the tree map recently, but I have a bunch of these willow oaks in my part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they're all coming down because they were all planted 80 years ago and their lifespan is about 80 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, we've seen
Yeah.
6 go in our block, so I wouldn't be surprised if these are marked for termination.
Sure. Okay. And we definitely run everything through by our forestry department has a chance to review all of our plans and designs, so they will have a look at all this as we go through the
Are
process.
they going to do centerline hardening too? Because that's
What were you gonna
this
ask?
area here, basically the bridge,
Yeah.
is a really common area for cars to do like the alley cut throughs, and
Yeah.
also at any lights, like they're coming into oncoming traffic. So if there's
can use the alley.
if there's a car back at that light, they'll cut into oncoming traffic, come all the way down this block to cut into the alley. So that might stop both
Okay.
of those. I mean, it wouldn't stop everything,
Yeah.
but the centerline hardening would at least, because the cars that are cutting through the alleys have to do it fast to make it worth their while, so they come like ripping across
Yeah,
Taylor.
to kind of help prevent that. I see exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even identify a spot because basically from here to the bridge is just a constant stream
It's
of
like the Wild West.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just whatever people want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, definitely. Thank you.
Whose bike has the flag?
I have a seat on the back of my bike.
Well, I was gonna say we could run home and get the lunch.
It's a great idea.
Or if it's the front.